Hey friends, welcome to day 5 of 7 days of Yin Yoga. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. So far we've moved through the 4 quadrants of the thigh, and today we're going to move on to the target area of the spine. If you have a blanket and 2 blocks, that would be lovely for this practice. We are going to get started laying down on our backs. So when you come down onto your back, we're going to take our arms out into a T, bending the knees. We'll bring the soles of the feet in towards the bum. We're going to start right away with a twist. So you could let the stacked knees fall to the left. You could take your right leg, twist your roots by wrapping the right leg around the left and falling. If you have that blanket close by, you could place a blanket underneath or between the knees. And you can choose where the knees are. If they're a little bit further away from you, pointing downward, you're going to focus more of the twist through the lower spine. If you bring the knees up closer towards the chest, you're going to bring the twist a little bit further up the spine. So making this shape work for your body today. If you'd like to bring the twist into the cervical spine, your neck, you can let the head fall towards the right. And we'll close our eyes. Turning the awareness inside. Allowing the body to feel very heavy. The hips are heavy, the legs are heavy. Slowly shifting from doing to being. We're just going to hang out together for the next little while. Slowing everything down. Allowing the body and the mind to rest. Noticing the breath moving in and out of the nose. Eventually finding a breath that feels so fluid and steady. Breathing with ease. And on the next exhale, slowly draw the head back to center. The knees come back to center, unwinding them if they're wound. Bending the knees, drawing the legs in towards the torso, just gently rocking the lower back, pressing against the earth, being massaged. And then we'll come into a twist on the other side. Soles of the feet land towards the bum. You can, again, just let the knees fall to the right, stacking them. Blanket underneath or between the knees. Or twisting those roots, wrapping the legs. Choosing the placement of the knees so you can target the lower, mid, or upper spine. You could try each one on, see which one works for your body right now. Head might fall to the left. The eyes are soft. The space between the eyebrows soften and widen. The cheeks and the jaw are relaxed. Knowing that it's okay if your mind is really busy. I'm just taking a mental inventory of what's going on in the body and in the mind. And seeing if you can become the observer, just stepping back from what you're noticing, observing your patterns of thought. And on the next exhale, allowing the head and legs to roll back to center. Draw the legs in. Gentle squeeze. And then we'll take the soles of the feet back onto the floor right near our bum. And we'll reach over for our block, or if you have a sturdy book. We're going to take this block and place it at the lower spine. So we'll inhale to lift the pelvis. You can choose your height. There's 3 heights with the block. And there's a flat little bone called the sacrum that we're resting the block underneath. So you could stay right here with the knees bent, or if you would like to let the legs walk out a little bit further, this is going to intensify the compression in the lower lumbar spine. One option is not better than the other. Arms continue to rest comfortably by your side. And it's normal, especially in this type of practice, a Yin Yoga practice, that you could be feeling emotions like boredom or intensity, feeling sweetness. So just ride the wave of whatever emotions come up. Know that they're going to change over time as we move through different shapes and poses. So just being with whatever comes up. The legs are extended out. We'll slowly walk the soles of the feet back in. Inhale, pelvis draws up. Hand reaches under for the block. And on the exhale, lowering the pelvis very slowly. Pelvis lands. Draw the knees in. Another squeeze. Now roll over on one side. I'm just taking a moment here, just a couple breaths in this fetal position. we'll come all the way up. We're going to come into seated butterfly. If you feel like you're rounding back quite a bit, and just reaching for your blanket or rolling up your mat, sitting right at the edge of the blanket or the mat. Soles of the feet come together. Blocks are nice to have for underneath the knees if you'd like that support. And as we come forward, we're making this really about the spine. So we're targeting the spine and all the muscles along the spine. But in terms of the lower body, if you'd like to also get into the inner thighs or the adductors, you could bring the heels closer to you. If you would like to target a little bit more of the hamstrings in this forward fold, then you could bring the soles of the feet out. So you can choose where the feet are and what you want to target. Functional alignment, my friends. We'll start to hinge forward. Depending on how your spine is feeling today, you could keep the spine a little bit more tall or erect. If you would like to round through the spine, that's great. You could let the chin come in towards the chest. Imagining that you could release all muscular effort through the pelvis, the legs, releasing tension through the lower back, releasing tension or stress in the mind. weight into the hands and fingertips, rolling all the way up. Shoulders stack over the pelvis, head stacks over the shoulders. Just landing right here, right now. Let the right ear fall towards the right shoulder. And the chin rolls in towards the chest. Left ear towards left shoulder. And we'll bring the head back to center. Hands help the knees close, sitting back onto the hands. Knees fall side to side. We'll come into Sphinx. We're going to come onto our bellies. And just moving your props over to one side. I'll bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Knowing that if this is too aggressive for your lower back today, you could always just come down with the elbows winged out and your forehead resting on stacked palms. You can let the head hang back, or you can let the head come forward. Nice option to have your forehead resting on a support like a block. Closing the eyes. Relaxing through the glutes and the legs. And just like we did in supported bridge, we're compressing the lower spine. And by compressing the lower spine, we're countering all of the rounding forward that we do day to day. Sitting at our desks, sitting in our cars, riding our bikes. So by gently compressing the bones, we're allowing the bones to grow stronger, become healthier. We've been here for roughly 3 minutes. If you'd like to spend the last minute in seal, you just turn the hands out towards the corners of the mat. We'll press into the hands, elbows lift. And all we're doing here is we're just sending the area of compression a little further up the spine. Remembering that you can come out of this at any time. Continually relaxing through the lower back and the glutes. Relaxing the hamstrings and the calves. Ankles and feet are so chill. Only muscular effort coming from the arms and the shoulders to hold you up. If you're in seal, the elbows land. And winging the elbows out, letting the forehead come down, just allowing the whole torso to relax. Observing the sensations in the lower back. You might be noticing a rush of energy, blood, lymph rushing through the area that we've just compressed. And we'll take our hands to the outsides of the ribs, coming up and back into a child's pose. Knees together or knees wide, you can choose. Arms reaching out in front. The forehead comes down onto the blanket, block, or the mat. And just letting the hips sway side to side, letting the forehead rock back and forth, massaging the front of the skull. You might even like to open and close the jaw a few times, just releasing any residual stress in through the face and the neck. And then we'll come to stillness, resting for a few moments here in child's pose.
elongating through the spine, letting the hips sink back and down towards the heels. Neck and shoulders are soft, arms resting heavy on the earth. And we'll start to get into the lateral movement of the spine. So walking the hands over to the right. The left hip draws down. Forehead comes back to rest on a support or the mat. Inhaling to come up and slowly walk the hands through center and then over to the left. Sinking the hips back and down. The right hip especially draws down. And coming on up and back to center. Hands walk in towards the body. So we're stacking the spine. Shifting the weight of the hips to one side. We're going to make our way into corpse pose. You are welcome to just come all the way down onto the mat, spreading out the legs and the arms. Or if you want to take a little bit of a supported corpse pose, we can come into a supported fish. You could use blocks, you could use a bolster, you could roll up your blanket. I'm going to show the option today with blocks. So one block near the back of the mat for your head to rest on. And then the other block a little bit further down, so it looks like they're making the letter T. And it can take a little bit to find where it feels good in your body. So as you come down onto the blocks, doing a little bit of wiggling around, moving the block up the back, moving the block so it's underneath your head. And then opening up the arms so that we can open up through the chest, the shoulder blades rolling underneath us, and closing the eyes. So if you've taken this supported fish variation, coming into another back bend, another bend for the spine. So wherever you're resting, imagining that you could feel your bones, so that the bones are so heavy. Allowing yourself to relax a little bit more. Relishing in the quiet, relishing in the ease that you've cultivated. We're just hanging out together, so chill. We'll start to bring small movements into the hands, the fingers, the feet and the toes. And we'll bend the knees and then rolling over to one side. Again, just landing in this fetal shape. No hurries, no worries. And we'll come all the way up. Comfortable seat. And with all this love we've shown our spine, let's sit up really tall. Bring our hands together at our heart. Press the thumbs into the sternum. Closing the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for showing up. And from my spine to yours, namaste.